Hello and welcome to TomiTalks TV. I have one singular goal with this show, and that is to help you make smarter decisions so that you can have better relationships. So, as usual, I like to start by saying a very big thank you. Thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. I really, really appreciate you because you're helping us spread the message further faster. So, thank you very much indeed. Now, today, have I got a treat for you. I have got a guest in my studio today to have a discussion with me, and I'm really so excited. I'm sure you can tell that I'm excited. Now, my guest is a pharmacist turned cake designer. Her name is Adebola Oyekola, and she is the CEO of Cakes by Cindy's in Abuja, Nigeria. And it's a top of the range maker of exclusive bespoke cakes for every occasion. I can say I can testify. I have tasted her cakes. They are amazing and they are so beautiful. You need to check out Cindy's online, Cakes by Cindy's. Now, she's a graduate of the Rema Bible Training Center in Nigeria, and she's also a certified John Maxwell coach and trainer. She's a teacher of the word who gives generously of her time to mentor young people in their careers, their relationships, and their marriages. She and her husband hold family and relationship and marriage seminars, and they are also conference speakers. She loves to travel. She loves to read books like I do. She loves to hang out with great friends, and she has been happily married to Tunde for 28 years, and they have two lovely daughters. Could you please welcome to the show Adebola Oyekola? Thanks for
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here on the show. Hi, Tomi.
Hi, it's so lovely to have you on the show.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to be on your show. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you so very much. Now, for those of you that don't know, some of you who have attended my marriage masterclasses in Nigeria will know this, but for those of you that don't know, she is actually my big sister. She is my big sister. Same parents. She's my elder sister, and she's looking as beautiful as this. I mean, I've got a tough act to follow, haven't I? So, I've got to be honest, she has had such a significant influence on my spiritual journey. You really have. You really have.
Thank you.
We both grew up in a Christian home, and we had that privilege of being raised in the way of the Lord. But she was actually the one that led me to Christ. And she was in secondary school then, as I was as well. And she came back fired up and led me to Christ. She ministered the Holy Spirit baptism to me. She's been a mentor spiritually for years and years. She was the one that got me interested, whether she knew it or not, in studying about marriage and all that. She had a few books on marriage that I snuck to read in those early years. So she's been a fantastic influence in my life. And it's a joy and a privilege to have you on my show today.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of my little sis. I have to say that. I have to say that.
So we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun today. First of all, let me start by asking, what have you been doing with yourself during this lockdown period?
Well, I've been reading. I've read so many books.
Okay. All right.
I'm currently reading John Maxwell, The Roadmap to Success, or Your Roadmap to Success.
Okay.
Yes, I read Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do, Robert Schuller.
Oh, that's
you can imagine you need that during this period.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I also read How to Make Your Faith Work by Robert Schuller too. I've read a few chapters of God's Generals.
Wow, so you're really getting all the reading in right now.
I really am.
Absolutely.
And then I've been able to also do some online seminars and some discussions with, I also belong to the Enterprise Development Center in Nigeria. So I've also been able to do a couple of seminars with them.
Okay.
The way forward after COVID, yes. So it's been a very fruitful time.
Good. That's the way it should be. I mean, I'm currently running on my channel, or my channels actually, Today campaign in the month of April. And essentially what it's about, it's called the Radical Campaign. It's about actually making the best use of this lockdown period.
Exactly.
What I'm saying to people is, don't just get bogged down with all the fear, and the concern and all that, but you've got to be looking forward, and thinking about, what can I do in this period to make the best of this period and to make sure that I come out on the other side so much better than, I went in. So it sounds to me like, that's absolutely what you're doing. So that's amazing. Now, you've been married for 28 years, over 28 years, and happily married at that. If you could only share with people one single secret to this happy marriage that you've got, what will that secret be?
Very easily, I would say choose happiness.
Right.
Choose happiness.
Choose happiness. Okay.
Choose happiness.
What does that mean in practical terms? How do people choose happiness?
Okay. First, I'd like to read. There's a scripture, that has guided me, through the years, and that's Ecclesiastes 9:8-9 in the Good News Translation. It says, "Always look happy and cheerful. Enjoy life with the one you love, as long as you live the useless or transitory life that God has given you in this world. Enjoy every useless day, including the COVID days. Don't consider them COVID days. Just say they are transitory days.
Yeah.
Enjoy every useless day of it, because that is all you would get for all your trouble."
Wow.
So,
what version is that?
That's the Good News Translation.
Amazing. Spot on. Absolutely spot on.
It's a Good News Translation. So, we have just a short time to live on this earth. Mm-hmm. And, the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to be happy or do you want to be sad throughout your entire lifetime? And if you do have the opportunity to lie down on a deathbed, so to speak, do you want to look through your life and say, oh, I had such a miserable time, or I had such a happy time? Mm-hmm. And I think, the best thing to do is to choose happiness. Yeah. So that when you lie down, in your last days, you'll be like, wow, I had a blast. Yeah. I had fun. Yeah. As much as we can, we must have fun.
Wow. Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's really crucial, actually. So I find it interesting that you say that happiness is a choice, because essentially what you're saying is that it's not the circumstances that surround our lives that actually determine whether or not we're happy, but it's the choices that we make.
Exactly. That's right.
And I really love that, because that's, one of the things that I'm constantly talking about on my channels. The fact that, life is all about decisions, and I'm all about helping people make smarter decisions so that they can have better relationships. So it's all about choice. It's not just about what life throws at you, but it's about the choices that you make.
You make, exactly, in the face of what life throws at you. That's right. That's right.
So so in a marriage, how do people practically choose happiness?
Okay, I'd like to use the acronym FACE.
Okay.
To enumerate the things that we could do to choose happiness.
So FACE, as in FACE.
Sorry. CE.
Okay.
FACE. FACE.
Right. Okay, that's easy to remember.
Exactly. So just, you can tell your spouse, I'm going to face you. Or I choose to face you. Or, whatever,
Yes.
And, for me, it stands for the first one, F, being forgiveness or friendship.
Right.
The A being acceptance or understanding.
Okay. I hope
the C,
guys.
The C being choosing compassion or kindness, right. And the E being choosing enlargement. Wow. So choose FACE. Choose FACE.
Okay. All right. Would you like to talk us through each of them?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Friendship. Friendship and forgiveness. Sometimes, when we have friends, you notice that we give our friends longer ropes than our spouses. And the question is why? We forgive our friends more easily than we forgive our spouses. The question is why? And then we have friendships that last from maybe primary school to secondary school, some from kindergarten, and they last a long while. Why? Because we're able to forgive, we're able to overlook, things that happen within those relationships. So if we did the same in our marriages, don't you think it would be different? If we saw our husbands and our wives not as spouse, husband, wife, and put them in certain categories, but rather said, look, this person is my friend. I choose a friendship with this person. We would find that we forgive more. We would find that we tolerate more. We'll find that we are more empathetic, and we'll find that we just, generally have fun. After all, when we go out with our friends, what do? We go have fun. We go to the movies, we go to, wherever it is, the picnics and all that. But when it's our spouses, we're like, look, you just sit down in the house. These are your rules. These are the things you're supposed to do. And we're definitely not going to have fun.
Exactly.
But, the first thing is choose friendship.
Wow.
Marriages that embrace friendship last so much longer and are much more happier than marriages that don't.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I can see that. I mean, I've seen that in your marriage, and I know that you're friends with your husband, and I've seen that manifest in your marriage. So yeah, that's, but I find it interesting though, that we would give more rope to people we're not married to, than the
Yeah.
people that are actually married. Is that because the stakes are higher, or what? I wonder why.
I really don't know why we do that. I really, sometimes, I sit and ponder. Sometimes, yeah, maybe the stakes are higher. Sometimes we expect, too much of our spouses, and we probably need to dial it a bit down and just say, look, you're my friend. You're just human, just like, I'd want to relate with my friend. I just relate with you, and then also, not to think so much about the responsibilities, because sometimes we put a lot of stake on the responsibilities that we think the other person, the other person is supposed to undertake. Yeah. And in that process, we don't give them a lot of room, Right. Whereas if, it was our friends would be like, oh, you were 20 minutes late. Okay, don't worry about it. Let's just go on. But if it's, you're 20 minutes late again, So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's fantastic. Right. So what about the A?
A is acceptance, choosing to accept. When we first fell in love with each other, what did? We took the spouse hook, line, and sinker.
Yes.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And we just said, look, I just love you. Oh, I don't have any hair. Yeah, I love you all the same. Oh, I really don't like skiing. Don't worry, I'll take care of you, and all that. And then,
it's all fine. It's all good.
It's all good. Everything is all good. And then somewhere along the line when we get married, we lose that, we lose the acceptance. And, truly speaking, everybody wants to be accepted. There is not one of us who is perfect in all their ways. And one of the greatest gifts that we can give to humanity, give to our spouses, is that sense of acceptance. I love you just the way you are. I'm not expecting you to be any different. And that's the kind of love God gives to us. I just love you just the way you are. I don't want you to be any different. Yes, in the process of time, you can get better. But just the way you are is good enough for me for now. And I think that's one of the things we need to give to our spouses, that acceptance and that understanding. And, understanding for me is two things. One is, I understand you because I can reason with you and I know why you're making certain decisions.
Right.
But the second is, I really don't understand you. I really don't know why you're doing this, Yeah, when it comes to, male-female differences,
That's a big issue.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, in those cases, you may not be able to really understand why your spouse is doing what they're doing, but you just choose to accept. So you either understand or you choose to accept. Also in marriage, would have different differences, temperament differences, ideological differences, opinion differences. But, when it all comes down, let's know that we're working towards a common goal, and, not maximize or, spend so much time on the negatives. Let's rather focus on the positives, and focus on the things that make us and bring us together rather than the things that tear us apart. So that's the acceptance and the understanding part of things. And we've been able to do that in our marriage, and that's greatly helped us. Yeah. I remember once my husband said, sweetheart, the day I realized that you would never change and you were just like other women, that was my day of liberation. So, I think all of us need to be liberated. Your husband or your wife is just a man or a woman. They may never change, but just get liberated.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's so crucial. That's so crucial, because one of the things that I try to help people understand is that, opposites will always tend to attract. So you would tend to be married to somebody who's quite different from you. So you've got so many different layers there. So you've got the layer of, men are generally different from women in terms of, how they interpret things, what their desires are, what their needs are, all of that. So you have that layer of differences. Then you have the layer of the differences of, temperament and, one person is introvert and the other is extrovert, or, all that sort of thing. One person is organized, the other one is disorganized.
You
drive yourselves absolutely bonkers,
exactly
stressed out about all those differences. And then you might have differences in love language. It's
so many money languages, all the differences.
Exactly. So it's so crucial. You're absolutely right. Acceptance is key. Acceptance is really, really key.
That's right.
I love that. Okay, so what's the C then?
The C is compassion or kindness. And it goes hand in hand with all the other things that we've talked about.
Yes.
Why don't you choose to be compassionate? Why don't you choose to be kind? Sometimes you find in marriages you find certain marriages where people decide just to be mean to the other partner. Like we were talking earlier, the rise in domestic violence. And sometimes you wonder, why would you sit in your space and decide that your life ambition and your life goal is to make somebody else's life miserable. And you wake up and that's what dominates your every thinking hour. Why don't you choose kindness? And you know when we have to be mean, it also takes something out of us. Absolutely. Meanness takes a lot out of us. Absolutely. So choose kindness, choose to show compassion, choose to show understanding. Maybe during this COVID period, for instance, there have been so many jokes going around how we should appreciate teachers more because now we're stuck with the kids, or how probably husbands and wives would appreciate each other more now, or probably because like the men are now at home looking at all the things the wife do to put the children in check. Okay. I talked to somebody yesterday and she was like, please pray for me, the children are they're driving me crazy again, the daddy have to take them out, but sometimes the issue is when we walk in another person's shoes or choose to be considerate, to be compassionate, it greatly helps and enhances a relationship. So that helps us with our happiness quotient.
That makes a big difference, actually. So essentially what you're doing is that you're putting yourself in that person's shoes, and I think that completely changes our perspective, because it helps us see things from their point of view, because everybody is right in their own eyes until they can actually see the other person's shoes and see
you got that
from that person's perspective. That's right. A huge difference. I think that's really, really profound. I think we probably don't make as much effort as we should in that whole area of compassion. Kindness. When it comes to your spouse, there's a tendency to want to just take them for granted and not actually make that effort to understand.
And it takes a concerted effort, like you rightly said. It's a concerted. You have to make a decision and say, maybe I would have done this for my friend, but I need, since my spouse is my friend, I will do it. So it actually takes a lot of decision making in that regard.
Wow, that's great. Okay. And then the E.
The E, which is the final one on the icing of the cake, is choose enlargement. Right. Choose to embrace ideas, choose to embrace ideologies that will enrich your relationship. I would rather think that it would be better to choose not to say, this is the status quo. This is how different relationships have conducted themselves, but rather to look at the results that those relationships have had. If the results are great, why don't you choose to enlarge your thinking, beyond where you are in order to choose happiness? If everyone within our sphere of influence is miserable because they're making certain marriage decisions, just choose to be different. Choose enlargement. Choose to make different decisions, to learn differently. And, throughout life, like, you've been married also for a lot of years, you find that you're constantly changing. You don't have to say, you were here, 10 years ago, so you have to be here now. And that's the way you're going to conduct your marriage or your relationship until you die. If it's not working, fix it.
Fix it. Absolutely.
Fix it. If it's not working, just fix it. So choose enlargement, enlarge your ideas, enlarge, expectations. Just tell yourself, I may not be as happy as I want to be today, but I will be as happy as I want to be tomorrow, because I'm going to make decisions today that are going to change my tomorrow. So that is the E of the face. So please choose face.
Choose. And at the end of the day, that kind of brings us full circle back to where we started before in terms of, enlargement, because there's no better way to enlarge your thinking than, the things you expose yourself to, the study.
That's right.
Because I think the challenge that a lot of people have is trying to run their marriages through a traditional lens. So they see things that people do. This was what my mom did. This was what my dad did. This is what my uncle. This is, how people do it around me. So because of that, their minds are not open, first of all, to what is the scriptural pattern for how this should be done, even if it's different from what you see in your culture. And then secondly, people who have actually studied these things and they know how this whole marriage business works, what are they doing? What are they prescribing? I think that's so crucial. I mean, yesterday, in the Radical campaign, I was sharing a quote which I read by Oliver Wendell Holmes, which I just think is such a fantastic quote. He essentially said that a man's mind, once stretched with an idea, never returns to its original dimensions.
Oh, wow.
I find that so fascinating, because that's what happens when you read, when you study books and things like that. I mean, it baffles me that people actually have the courage to step into marriage without having read anything. They've had
exactly.
no preparation. They've not, so we study for everything else that in this life. You study for, exams for your career and all that. But then this thing called marriage, which is so, so crucial, people just feel, I'll figure it out when I get there, I'll work it out.
And to make matters worse, we get our certificates ahead of time.
Exactly. Before you actually get to sit the exam.
Exactly.
So it's so key, so key. I mean, you've been studying for years and years and years. I've been studying for years and years, as well. I've lost count of how many things I've read on marriage.
That's right.
In the hundreds.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking for something new.
Exactly.
And I know you're the same as well. Always looking for new tools, new things that can help
right.
you. And you're happily married, but still you're looking for new things.
Exactly.
So it's amazing.
Because we don't take things for granted.
Exactly. And I think part of it is also humility, recognizing that you don't know all there is to know, and there's something more to learn.
That's key. And that's what why TomiTalks fits into that space, to help people, get the tools that they need to build better relationships.
Yeah, great. So, okay, my last question. We've talked about what you're reading currently.
Yeah.
So, if you were marooned on a desert island and you could only take one book with you, and it's not the Bible, because I know that's what you would choose first, right? You can only take one book with you, one book that probably made the biggest impact in your life. Right. What would that book be and why?
Okay, one. Well, okay, I'm going to cheat now. I would say now there'll be so many books that have made an impact in my life.
Right.
So I'm going to have three. One is Marriage Takes More Than Love.
Okay. Oh, that's a fantastic book.
The second one is, it just skipped my mind now. Anyway, I would say there's one book I've read recently again, which has made a great impact on me, and that's John Maxwell's 15 Irrefutable Laws of Growth.
Right. Okay.
The other one I just remembered, The Millionaire Next Door.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
okay. Yes.
But if I choose the 15 Irrefutable Laws of Growth, what it tells me is we have to keep growing. Mm-hmm. So all the knowledge I've gotten from Marriage Takes More Than Love and Millionaire Next Door, which are financial and marriage books, I put it all together. And in the 15 Laws of Irrefutable Growth, I tell myself that I have to keep growing. I have to keep learning. I have to keep reading. There is never enough of growth, Mm-hmm. So those are the books that I would take with me to a desert island.
On Marriage Takes More Than Love, why would you take that with you?
Yeah, because I think contrary to a lot of a lot of popular opinion, mm-hmm. or contrary to popular opinion rather, a lot of times we think that once we're in love, it's going to take us the long haul through marriage. Mm. But you and I have found that it takes so much more than love. It takes proper decision making. It takes having the right kind of knowledge. Like the Bible will say, get wisdom and all you're getting, get understanding. It takes you making adjustments. It takes you learning, about your spouse, learning about yourself. It takes you understanding that, as you grow in marriage, there are going to be changes. Both of you are going to be changing. And to be able to, adjust to those changes when they come, as they come. Our roles change. First, we were single, then we became spouses, then we became parents, and then very soon become grandparents, and by the grace of God, great grandparents and all that, So it's like our roles are changing, and for every role, you have to do something different. You have to be a different person, But when you understand that marriage takes much more than love, you're able to go into all the different roles that life is going to throw at you, and make all the different adjustments and the adaptations that you have to make, in the marriage. And the essence is that at the end, the marriage stands the test of time. And then people are able to look up to us and say, wow, because of this person's marriage, I want to be married. So Marriage Takes More Than Love has really impacted my life.
That is fantastic. I think that's a great way to end. This has been absolutely amazing. I've so enjoyed myself talking to you. And I think, that everyone that has watched this will certainly have something to pick out from this. but particularly for the married people, recognizing that marriage takes a lot more than just the feeling of love, but there's so much more that is required, that whole decision making, the choices that you're making, and like we said in the course of the discussion, choosing face, right? Choosing
yes,
face.
choosing face, exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
so this has been absolutely profound. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Tomi. I've so
virtual
enjoyed
hugs.
myself. Yes, my sister's hug.
Virtual hugs.
I love you, girl.
Thank you so much, sis. It's been great having you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you all for watching. It's been fantastic having you on the show. Absolutely fantastic. So stay tuned, same time next week. So next Saturday, we will be back again with another fantastic show for you. I'd really like to encourage you, if you haven't joined the Radical campaign yet, then go on to my Facebook or onto Instagram and join the Radical campaign. You will make a big difference in your life in this month of April by following through with all the challenges that I'm sharing every day. I'd also like to encourage you, if you haven't yet joined my TomiTalks Marriage Masterclass group on Facebook, I really encourage you to join, because I share in there things that I don't share anywhere else. So please take your time and join. Just find the group on Facebook, TomiTalks Marriage Masterclass group, and click join, and I will admit you into the group. It's been fantastic having you. Look forward to seeing you next time. God bless and bye for now. See you.